go on the LinkedIn thing here. All right. Okay, one second. This is so slow. Um, I believe that we are live, everyone. I have to refresh my LinkedIn, but thank you so much for joining me live today. Yes, we are live. It is confirmed. I want to introduce you to some amazing people that that are doing great things on LinkedIn, that are making an impact in the world through their business. LinkedInpreneurs, and they're my friends too. And I want to introduce you to them. I think that it's important for me to introduce the right people to my network, people that I believe in, people that I know come from a good place and are making a great impact. So we'll go around. Dan, you were here first, so introduce yourself and really tell people like who you are, what you do in your business, and you know maybe one thing you learned together with the community that has helped your business.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm Dan Fradenburgh. If you want to understand who I am, I think you have to know that I lived in Taiwan for 15 years, even
That's
though I'm a
cool. I didn't
Canadian.
even know that. I didn't even know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So Mandarin's my second language. I've explained the theory of relativity before using only Mandarin on a bet, and I won the bet. So that's the weird stuff about me. But as far as business goes, I pivoted out of teaching back then into e-commerce, and I fix funnels. Funnel hacking is a common term in some circles, and that's part of it. But because I've been building online sales funnels and lead capture funnels for 12 years now, that's basically people come to me in order to take what they already have and make it better using all the experience that I've had. So I focus generally on commercial real estate investors who are looking to build their list, segment their list, and if they have some sort of product or everybody has lead capture, but I help them with that as well. So that's me.
That's awesome, Dan. And how
Yeah.
has LinkedIn been beneficial to your business? Maybe one thing you learned in the community, because I know that there's a lot of people in real estate that they want to use LinkedIn, but maybe they're not using it in the right way. They're just connecting and pitching people. They don't really understand the value of building relationships, and I see just a lot of connecting and pitching in that space.
Right, right. Yeah. So, what I've learned, especially in your group, in that context, is you're right that a lot of people are just pitching. A lot of people are taking that relationship side very seriously as well. But the real issue is how do you get it to ROI, return on investment? How do you get to actually make money off of that? And just putting billboards up, everybody's been so desensitized to ads that, those sorts of, in your face, hey, do this for me approaches, they just simply don't work. And the people who I see succeeding in real estate, it's because they're building those personal relationships. So that really is what you have to do as an extension on LinkedIn. You have to use it as a tool to find people, interact with them, get them to know who you are, and then you'll end up getting so much inbound business through your direct messages because they'll be like, "Hey, I need somebody who's exactly like you." You just have to get your face out there and you have to show that you're genuine and you're not just looking to get in somebody's pocket.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so give one tip to people in real estate where they could start to build a relationship virtually.
Okay, so the biggest thing for me is vetting people. So whenever you're looking at someone, you got to say like, okay, like, are they going to move my business forward? And if so, you've got to get out of your comfort zone and engage them. Comment on their posts, get to know them a little bit better, and make sure that your profile it really says the message to the people who you want to talk to that needs to be said so that they'll end up doing business with you.
So how do you get people on the phone?
hmm Okay, so the biggest way is making sure that your phone number is visible. But one of my favorite tricks that I've been doing is I've been doing my networking as part of my podcasting, and I've ended up making a 15-minute interview format. So that way, I'm really being efficient with people's time and respectful for their time. You pretty much have to offer 15 minutes of your time with just about everybody in real estate. But why not, leverage your time by taking that and making it multiple things? So one is I'm letting people know in my network, how this person who I'm interviewing can fit in their deals, in their commercial deals, so that they can just get that perfect team, that perfect match, and all that sort of stuff. But you're only really giving 15 minutes. And in that 15 minutes, I'm finding the motivation, like what's driving you to pick up your next deal and be a part of it. And then what role are you actually going to be playing in it?
So you're
So
listening and learning about your prospect.
right, yeah, that's exactly it. I'm saying, so what's going on with you? How can I help you? And one of the questions also, because the way that I get closer
Wait, I
relationships with
love
them,
that, Dan.
yeah.
How can I help you? That's probably like the five most powerful words that you could use together, right? How can I help
Mm,
you? And I feel like on LinkedIn, a lot of the people that don't have these conversations, that don't get the inbound, DMs, or don't know how to engage their prospects, they just it's self-serving. They don't give them patience to build that relationship. They aren't interested in the other party. They aren't interested in having a conversation. It's like you shouldn't get on LinkedIn to just do lead gen, like generate leads. You should really get on LinkedIn to become a leader in your space, and people will come to you and be more open once you actually, even message them, engage with them. And I think that there are different styles that people use, but that is what I've seen work the best across multiple industries for long term, right? Relationship building and value. And I appreciate you, Dan. And we'll come back around. But I want to go to Inger. Inger, what's up? You were here second, Inger. And she's
Hey,
always in a clubhouse. Inger and Dan are always in clubhouse too.
awesome. Hey, Shaneé, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Tell them who you are, Inger. I love your show, the 9 to Thrive, like your program, how you're helping people leave corporate administrative positions and build their own business. Your consistency, everyone's consistency here has been really impressive. And also your
Mhm.
engagement with the community, the impact you want to make. So just tell people a little bit about who you are and maybe one thing that you've learned together with us here.
Sure. So for
And
those of
yes,
you
I'm
that don't
drinking
know me,
coffee.
it's still early, right?
Don't
So
mess
for
with
those
my
of you that don't
coffee.
know me, sorry, say that again, please.
I said, don't mess with my coffee.
So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Inger van Roy. I'm originally from South Africa, but I currently reside in Canada. I've been here for over 15 years. Um, and I'm a new entrepreneur. I started my business smack bang in the middle of the pandemic. In July of 2020, at the end of July, I registered my business and I started working with my first client 2 weeks later.
That's amazing.
Um, Prior to that, I really wanted to step into entrepreneurship, but I was afraid to fail. And so I was stuck in the corporate world for almost 20 years. What pushed me out of that comfort zone was um, really an impactful moment that I had speaking to a friend. She said, she asked me like what I was doing, and I told her that I was betwixt and between finding work and starting my own business. And one thing that she said to me really blew my mind. She said, why not start? If you fail, you can always go back. And, yesterday in Clubhouse, we were speaking about just starting, right?
Hmm.
And that resonates with me because that's what I did. I just started. I didn't know where the heck I was gonna find my next client. I didn't know anything. I don't come from an entrepreneurial background at all. Both my parents worked in the corporate world. My father was in education and my mom was an accountant. And I didn't have any entrepreneurs in my circle. But the main thing that I can say that is so important for entrepreneurship is networking. Go
Mm-hmm.
out there, find people that you can really look at them, admire what they do, and emulate them. That's one of the reasons why I became a LinkedInpreneur, because people that I was connected to, they were connected to you, Shaneé. And
I
so
love that.
I saw who they, who they were, how they were growing. And I knew that because they were in your community, they were growing. That was one of the reasons why they were growing. Yes, they had the drive, but they also surrounded themselves with the right people. And that's one of the things that I like to speak about is Ubuntu, which means I am because we all are. And
Oh, I
the
love
reason
that.
why, yeah, so the
Wait,
reason
how
why
do
I
you
speak
say that word?
Ubuntu,
Ubuntu. I like it.
yes, it's an ancient African word, and that's what it means. It means I am because we all are. And one of the things that people talk about is we are the sum of the people around us. And it is true. We really are, like, because I can tell you for my journey over the last few months growing on LinkedIn, I look at different people that are in my circle. I see something that I admire and I emulate them. And it's not that I'm copying what they're doing. I'm taking what they do, I make it my own, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we all need to do, because we don't need to reinvent the wheel. It's
That's
already
true.
being done, right? So that's
I,
that's a little bit about who I am. Thank you.
I I love that, Inger. And really, if you're an entrepreneur, one of the things that will help you grow faster than anything else, that will help you think bigger, dream bigger, that will help you take more action, is just get around the right people. If you're around the right people, you'll know it because you'll see it in the results. You'll start to
Yes,
notice it in the way that you think. You'll start to see the glass half full. You'll start
yes.
to just be more creative. You'll start to set more boundaries and say no to things that won't fuel your purpose. And I love that you said that. And if I
Thank you.
ever have a second child, now we know the name, it's gonna be Ubuntu.
Oh my gosh. I didn't
That's
tell you
funny.
what I do though. Just quickly, I am the CEO and founder of We Got This Admin. And what I do through my business is I am a business coach. So I help frustrated administrators in the corporate world ditch corporate and start their own business.
I love
So
that. Why do you
mhm,
think that? Because I know that one of the biggest, especially like executive as women in corporate especially, they may not be happy, they may want to leave. What advice would you give to someone in that position, because I know that that's part of your story? If they're
yeah,
listening right now, they're not happy in their corporate position but they want to become an entrepreneur, what advice would you give them?
I would say to them, just like I said earlier, network. Find the right person that can help you, because this is not the end of your story. It's only the beginning. You
Mhm.
can change where you are. I know for me, I was stuck. I really was. Like I would get up in the morning and be dragging my feet going to work. I would, 8 o'clock. What? I thought a lot of the time it wasn't something that I wanted to do, but I felt stuck because I didn't know that there was another way.
Mhm.
So find the right people and let them help you. Let them take your hand and help you along this journey, because you can learn from people. You can learn from somebody that has done it.
Yeah, and I love that. And I feel like we're taught as kids a lot, at least most of us, that
Mhm.
you're weak if you ask for help, right? That it's kind of like a sign of weakness. And actually, I've seen the most successful people, like if they don't know something, they're gonna go seek the answer. They're gonna find someone that's done whatever they're trying to achieve. They're not afraid to ask questions or ask for help or ask for a
Yes,
connection or an introduction and things like that. And so I think that that's a stigma in society that needs to be overcome too, you know?
absolutely. Absolutely, you're right.
Thank you so much, Inger. Thank you so much for being part of the community. We appreciate you so much. Paul, what's up, Paul?
With Justin before me.
I don't
Charleston,
mind.
you
Go
want to
ahead,
go
Paul.
first?
Go ahead,
No,
Paul.
Justin.
No, he
No,
wants you to go, Charleston. You go first.
Okay.
Charleston's like, damn.
Well, I'm Charleston Gaines, and I'm an emotional intelligence coach, and what I do is empower people to love themselves and feel whole again. And for me, this is a very important journey, a very important part of my life because of the things that I've seen over the years. I spent 20 years in the Air Force. I'm a disabled veteran. And I guess that really means something even today, as Veterans Day is tomorrow. And during my time in the Air Force,
Thank you for your service, Charleston, by the way.
thank you, I appreciate you. So over the years, over my 20 years in the Air Force, I lost a lot of friends to suicide, and then there were some that I lost to what do you call it, murder suicide, right? Um, and so then you look at the numbers, and it impacts you a certain way. But then it really hit home because for me, I got this job working for the 70th. It's called Intelligence Surveillance Reconnaissance Wing. I worked for them at Fort Meade, Maryland. And one of the things that I did was suicide prevention. And the idea with suicide prevention is to be ready and available to prevent someone from dying by suicide. But then I experienced something with my mother that made me realize being there at the last second isn't good enough. Just keeping you alive isn't good enough. And
Oh, that's so powerful. That's so powerful.
Well, so what happened was my mother suffered this bad accident and she lost her left leg. And so just like I'm 46 years old, I'm half Korean, I'm Black and Korean. And so my mother, born and raised in Korea, had a very strong accent. And I tell you this because she was in the hospital. This is a few months after losing her leg. And she said the words to me, "I better die." Because she's my mom, I knew she meant I'm better off dead.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I thought to myself, I'm helping people prevent suicide. I'm helping people come in at the last second, right? What are the skills when someone says I'm suicidal? But what if someone doesn't have the capacity to die by suicide? Like, you may want to die, but you're the kind of person that you will never do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a win. Oh, you just stay miserable? You just hate your life for another couple decades? That's not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to build something where we didn't just keep you from dying. How do we make you come alive? And that's what I want
to do. Deep, Charleston. We went to a deep place, like real quick.
But for me, it's so powerful. Like I had a friend post on Facebook yesterday. Apparently, I didn't see the news, but some young airman, I say young, I don't know the person's age, but some young airman took his life in front of the Lincoln Memorial like yesterday or the day before. And I didn't know that, but a friend of mine posted it on Facebook because this dude apparently wrote a letter, and the letter is available somewhere. And I don't want to read it. I'm an emotional guy.
Right.
I guarantee you I would not be able to finish the letter. But what I do is I empower people to love themselves, right? So it's not just showing up at the Lincoln Memorial at the last second saying, "Oh, look at the skills that I learned to save your life."
Right.
What could we have done 2 months earlier or 6 months earlier? Or what could I have taught you to do for yourself? And that's my mission, because so my mom passed away in August of 2019. And for me, it's like, I know that I put in as much effort as I could to elevate her happiness.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know you can't make someone else happy.
Right.
And so I empower you to do that for yourself. And that's why I'm here. Like, I feel like because of my knowledge, my skill set, my experience, it would be irresponsible if I wasn't doing this.
Yeah, that's powerful. And so obviously what you do, it crosses, genders, it crosses how much money someone makes. It crosses race, it crosses everything, right? There are people that may feel that way that are extremely wealthy or that are not, that are single, that are married, that are this, that are that are in different phases of their lives. And so obviously opening up to someone that's a stranger like you is hard, right? And how important has showing up consistently been for maybe people being more open to even DMing you, right? Or being more open to just trusting that you would keep this private. Like this is a very vulnerable space, I could imagine, right? And so how do people trust you?
Well, I think part of it is just knowing my story. You know where I came
Hmm.
from, so I didn't turn 2 or 3 online books into a business. It's like, no, I've
Right.
experienced this. And then part of it is the consistency, and it's not just the consistency with um, suicide prevention or helping people elevate their happiness, but it's consistency in me being kind to other people, me
Hmm.
being a good listener, me showing that I actually care about you, the person. So just being consistent with that and showing that that is my character, not my business strategy.
And how has this community helped you, Charles, in, let's say, in the last 2-3 months?
Really,
To your
really,
business.
really for me, it's about, so I started this business in April and actually got my LLC in June. So maybe you can say this business is 4 or 5 months old. And so being a part of growthpreneurs and LinkedInpreneurs really helped me to understand the business mindset. Because for me in the beginning, it was, okay, I can do all these things, let me go do it. And I had no idea how to do it. And I had no idea who to ask for help. I didn't understand the concept of networking because I'd been in the military, I've had jobs, right?
Hmm.
So it's not the same when you have employments. So
Right.
growth, like literally growthpreneurs helped me to grow as an entrepreneur and certain specific skills, including gaining more confidence and believing in myself because of the support of the community.
Yeah, that's powerful. And people underestimate confidence, right? And people underestimate what even one win can do to your confidence. What newfound result can do to your confidence, no matter how small. And that's why we have, we have a culture where we share wins, and a culture where we also share challenges, or where we ask for feedback on how to improve, because you could always get better, right? And growth is a process, it's not an event. And I really believe that being around the right people, like I said, is just essential if you want to get growth in a good way, growth that you could handle, growth that means something, growth that's impactful, um, and not just transactional. So I love that, Charleston. Is there anything else you want to share? Like for someone listening that maybe they are in a place where they they feel stuck. Like, what would you say to them?
Well, I'll say a couple of things. First of all, the primary thing that you have to do to elevate your happiness is you have to believe that you deserve to be happy. And
Hmm.
so if you don't believe it, I'll just tell you, you deserve to be happy. And then from that belief comes your action, where you can begin to actually do things that make you happier and recognize that being happier isn't selfish, because
Right.
everyone that knows you and loves you and cares about you wants you to be happy, but they don't know how to make you happy. So
And
there,
yeah, it's not their job, right? They can't make you happy. They could try, but it's internal work.
it definitely is. And I'm glad you said that it's internal work, because what people need to understand is that it's a process, it's a journey. When I
Hmm.
say I will teach you to elevate your happiness, I don't mean tomorrow at 4. It is a process. And so when you recognize that and you're willing to put in the work, you recognize actually that as you elevate your happiness, you elevate the people around you, just like LinkedInpreneurs. As
Hmm.
one of us grows, we all grow in some sense. The same is true with happiness.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, I mean, there's a lot of similarities there. Like, you have to believe that you deserve to grow, right? You have to want to grow, and you have to take action. And that action becomes easier when you're surrounded by people that can guide you, right? They could save you time. There's a learning curve, right? They could shorten that learning curve. And they could be there for you when you don't feel like doing what you should do to grow, right? Or when you're unsure, when you need feedback. Um, and I think that the accountability is really the best part of the community because people don't just connect here, they create even business partnerships, friendships, joint venture partnerships, things like that. But more than anything, I like seeing people become friends and really being there for each other. So thank you so much, Charleston. Uh, Paul, what's up, Paul? It's your turn.
Um, I didn't hear Charles. Where are you based? Where you located?
Well, I'm in Kissimmee, Florida, but I have clients everywhere because I do it virtually. So like my next client, my next appointment, this person is in Turkey. So
Oh,
we just
wow. Charleston's going global now.
it doesn't feel like it from my own house, but yeah, so I'm in Florida, but I serve, really anyone that needs to be served.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we have two from Florida, two from Canada. I'm from Southern California. Oh,
And one
Paolo
from
is
Italy.
coming. One from Italy.
What's up, Paolo?
No,
You're late.
no.
You're late. Is it
I
because you're
know
Italian?
I know because I was stuck in another meeting, and so I couldn't make it. And guys, I mean, I think you have finished the meeting. I don't know.
No, you could go after Paul. You could go after Paul. Paul and then Paolo.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been in business for a long time. My family, two generations before me, was in business, so it kind of been born and raised with that. So I've seen how my parents doing business and pick it up. When I first came to the U.S. from Vietnam, 40 some years ago, learning and getting to the corporate world. But I know that was not the end of where I want to head to. So get out of that and start a business. And I've been starting and exiting business a couple of times now. So I'm not a first-time entrepreneur. And continue with that trend. I have one son and he's in business as well. So we all continue with that. I've been in technology for 30 some years. And as a technology service provider and a company that acquired my company in 7 years ago, from Toronto, Canada. So I have a lot of connection in Canada. Love people there. Been there for a few times. So after that exit, one son, he kept telling me, say, Dad, you just stay home, travel, don't do anything anymore.
Just stay home. You're like, no.
Just stay home. And I tried it for a few months and I couldn't do it. I wish I exited the company a few years later, but just timing. So I feel that I still have a few years that can do something more productive and focusing on helping the business, more business, because that's just the background. How to save money and avoid problem when they are implementing technology, because I've been in that shoe for a long time and I was like I say service provider for a long time. So I know, I've seen them, met with them, talked to them, and they explain their challenges when they try to bring technology to their company. And when you think about small and mid-sized company, if a project's not going well, it costs them a lot of money. And sometimes for a lot of company, it's tough to recover from that. So I've seen the problem and I believe that I can solve that problem or somehow, somewhat. So I built a platform a couple of years ago to help solving that problem.
What's
And
the
at the
name of
same
the
time,
platform?
hindsight,
Hindsight. Okay, cool.
and at the same time help small firms to have better opportunity to compete with larger firms, because the technologies service are very competitive. A lot of companies out there, small, sometimes 1-2 people to thousands of people, and smaller firms have tough time to compete with larger firms. I've been in the industry, I've seen that. Sometimes we won over larger company, but a lot of times we couldn't, because we don't have the resource, the bandwidth, the connection. So I want to solve that problem and help small and mid-sized firms kind of have more equal footing to compete, and whoever doing the best job, we win. And whoever's not doing a good job, fix the problem, do better. Otherwise, you'll be outcompete. So that's the goal for the platform, and we've been doing that for a couple of years. I'm joined the LinkedInpreneurs to see, because this is the community. LinkedIn, I believe, is community for my platform. So I want to leverage that and help share the message, and get people to connect and share the knowledge and experience and help each other. So that was I'm doing.
I love it, Paul. And so, I mean, you're a serial entrepreneur. So maybe for the more new entrepreneurs that are growing, right? Like, how important is it for them to network, just in your experience, and like to not give up? What would your message to them be?
I think nowadays the networking is much easier than when I was starting my company 20 some years ago. So now use the social media to network. You feel connected without being face to face. And networking is important. You got to let people understand you and what your motives are, because if you share with people, if people get to know you and understand that you really want to help them more than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And once they understand that, they will accept and will give you an opportunity to help them. So I think I'm connected with people here, on LinkedInpreneurs. I'm connected with people, from this, connect outside of that. Then I have, a few conversations, some interesting conversations a couple of days ago. Yeah,
I know you
didn't
had an
realize.
interesting conversation with Courtney too.
Yes, yeah. A couple of days ago, Dan, I didn't know Dan, is well versed in Mandarin. He thought that I am, but I'm not. I don't know anything about that. Oh, I can say very little. And I told Dan that, well, my son's work for a Chinese company. He doesn't speak as anything close to what Dan can speak in Mandarin. I was
Oh, wow.
very impressed. I was very, very impressed with that.
That's
With
amazing.
Vietnamese, all I know is yo, yo, cheers, yo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, no, there's some curse words too, but I'll skip those.
I don't know this curse words.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. And Paul, one more question, because I know that you had shared part of your story with us, that let's say you're like more of an introverted entrepreneur. How important is it to maybe get uncomfortable, to maybe do, a call or go somewhere like a networking event? How important is it to get out there for your business, even when you feel uncomfortable?
It is, you have to do it. You need to do it. Your, your business, your baby,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you start a company, you grow the company. It's like you raise a baby. You give baby a birth and you raise it, and you have to do everything that you need to do. I don't think well, my son disagreed with me about that. He said, I'm not introvert, right? He said he knows people that introverts are very different than me, but I don't know if he's right or I'm right. But I think, you have to step up and share your story and share your knowledge and share your experience, and with the goal to helping others that may not been through what I've been through, may not have seen what I have seen, and with that you help other people to avoid problems, and that's, I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely. And I mean, it just makes sense, everything you're saying. No wonder you're so successful, because you're saying help others, show people that you really care about them, and it'll make sense. And one more question for you. You know, you're a serial entrepreneur, obviously you're a parent, right? How do
Uh-huh.
you think entrepreneurs that have smaller ones now, like 3, 4, 5, what's like your secret? Because your son is successful. So how were you an entrepreneur and also like a parent that obviously did a great job?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Can you repeat the question again?
Like how can entrepreneurs also be successful in parenting?
Oh,
Well, yeah.
The balance.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. I think you know, I always when my son's little, I don't always tell him that I'm not leading him, I'm following him. I have to make sure that he's on the right track, but I'm not in front of him. I'm behind him,
Mhm,
and of course, you give him some guidance, but you want to understand where he's heading, and if he's heading to the place that he likes to to go to, and it's different in your place, that's fine,
mhm.
right? So I give him the freedom to choose what he wants to do, and of course, when you you know have a child and you raise a child, the chance that he follow your footstep is pretty high. It's not 100%, but it's high, right?
Mhm.
So he followed the footstep of enjoying the business. He tried different things. He tried to 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 become a doctor. He didn't like it. He tried to become a lawyer. He didn't like it. But when he gets to the business, just natural. And I think just part of, because generation after generation, um, I think it turned out, he enjoyed it, and he um, you know I think happy with what his decisions was, and continue to thrive with that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a good lesson for all of us, to give freedom, but to, kind of be like the bumpers. Like when you go
Yes,
bowling, the bumpers, like keep
right,
them in
right,
line.
that's
But
correct, right. Yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Paul. Paulo, late Paulo. Paulo, introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Paolo. I'm from Italy. I came back. I left Italy in '95, I think. I know. I came back in 2000, end of 2017, and I lived in different parts of the world. I did the typical, if you want, corporate career. So I got into being multinational and etc. etc. Developed there, and then I changed. I was vice president, etc. Global. And I did many experience, and for one series of reasons also, besides my executive VP title, I was called to restructure and turn around better, turn around companies. When a multinational has maybe small company in their vision, like 100 million or 50 million, etc., that are not doing well, then it's somebody that. So besides my role, I also went there. I did in Brazil, in France, in Canada, in the Netherlands, and so I turn around companies, and in the States, I reorganized companies. So it was not that bad. They needed to turn around, but I reorganized to increase the profit. So the logic here is basically to get the company still, to put the company on its feet and to make sure that it makes profit. The alternative is to shut it
I love that,
down.
Paulo. I want you to share that one story.
Uh,
That So Paulo shared this amazing story with us, because with restructuring, there are tough decisions that need to be made. Share that one where, they were going to have you lay off like 300 people or something.
Yeah. That was a small, decent company. It was 100 million Canadian dollar. It was in Canada. It was in Winnipeg, and Winnipeg is a cold area. I remember, and in winter time, and so I was there, and I was sent actually to shut down the company. The company was not making profit, and had the problem with paying the wages. So keep on asking from um, the shareholder money to pay. So I was there, and I was sent basically to see to discuss with the bank, and eventually to shut down the company. Now, in everything, the difference is people. It's not technology. I mean, technology is important, but at the end, it's people, how they use technology and how their mindset is structured. And very often, especially now it's changing because also of the COVID, but very often we have a kind of mentality that use people as they were used in the Ford or Taylorism era. So go at work from 8 to whatever, and be present, do the same thing. Your opinion counts, but it doesn't really count if you say something that is against me, or, oh, you think like that, oh, you're negative. There's not problem, there are only challenges, not there are problem, and then let's try to solve the problem, these kind of things. So COVID probably changed something, luckily enough. Bad, but I mean, if we can take something good about it. And if you give the people if you give people a structure, if you give people a process, if you let them be themselves and contribute to the business, you'll be amazed about the results that you can have. But you need to give a vision. That was my, or it's our, if you want to be a leader, it's our view as a leader, to give a vision and to bring result. There's these two areas. So if you don't have vision, you're just firefighting day by day. By doing that, we actually noticed that there were some opportunities, and we followed those opportunities. There are a lot of hard works in details. Being a leader sometimes doesn't mean, yes, you have to have a vision, but sometimes you have to put your hands in the mud, to find what goes wrong. And so this is the point. People makes a difference, also in technology. People made a difference also in all this technology, big data, etc. Yes, that's fantastic, but it's people that actually make things happen. That's it.
So what happened?
Yeah. What happened? Oh, in that situation.
Like, oh, I'll keep you on the ledge.
No, in that situation, I simply organized people. I saw where the company was losing money, spending the night with people there and checking out the numbers. And then seeing that there was a specific product, was big product of each product can go from 3 million to 7-8 million. Okay, and the bigger product simply they were not able to produce them. So the designing were not able to design it. When they blocked, it had to be reworked. Now to move the machine like that, it means that it blocked all the supply chain and all the production of the other smaller machine. And so we went there, and we found that if we cut this kind of production, we could eventually go back to profit. And we talk to the bank, we present a plan to the bank, as you have to talk every week at a certain moment, and then it goes 1 month if you receive it. We talk to the supplier. We talk to the customer. Luckily enough, there was some Manitoba public kind of company that were very Manitobian. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, we're gonna help a company from the same province. And so we work on that, and we involve people. And yes, we had to cut a production line, but we found out how to expand our, it's called, let's say, service market. Okay, so there was aftermarket, it's called technically. And that's what it went. It was -2%, it became +8% in a bit more EBIT, so earning before interest and taxes, which was equal to EBITDA because the production machine was very old. And in a bit more than 1 year, to 14 months more or less, and people were saved. Then my intention was
That's amazing. So what Paolo saved like 300 people's jobs. How many people was it, Paolo?
No, it was at the end, it was 300.
Yeah, so that's what he just said. You know what I mean? Like he was meant to go and fire everyone. And then he's like, he got his hands in the mud. He saw what was happening. He saw that it was savable, that he could fix the problems with the vision, and they started getting results. And he made a decision that it could be turned around, and 300 families were able to keep their jobs because of that. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was very proud of that. And actually, what the most difficult thing is to selling up and to the stakeholders. Stakeholders are lateral. The stakeholders, the workers, that were very happy to buy. But the bankings, also union were very happy to buy. But the shareholders, that was the most difficult part, because they want the results very fast. And sometimes you need to turn around a company, cannot be done. Now we were lucky, did it a bit more than 1 year, but usually that cannot take less than 1 year. You know, it can take 18 months, etc. So difficulties is to convince people that that you can do something. That's the most difficult part.
I love that, Paolo. So who can you help? Are you taking on clients that need a turnaround? What size? Like,
Okay,
things like that.
There are two things I can help, and now I can help big corporation. I'm helping a big corporation, and also I like to do something else. Now, what can I help? Look, 90% of the business in every size of the business are processes. Okay, this is what makes a business. Now, the processes are more complex in bigger corporation, obviously. Okay, and they are be simpler in smaller corporation, but they're still processes. Now, when you work on processes, you can really make a difference. And there are two areas. A, use what is commodities now, which is data, even big corporation data, they have differences, there's something. And the second, make sure that people are aware of the contribution they can give to the project. And having a team, being a leader, means actually leverage the team and bring into the same objective. That's the same for smaller corporations. Smaller corporations, they are more flexible, but sometimes even more rigid, in the sense that there's the owner, and the process is him, the data is him, the vision is him, and it's him. And what about my son? My son doesn't know anything. I mean, I will not even ask him to organize a household removal, but he needs to be here on my side, on the board of director of my company. And this is sometimes the issue. I have some small entrepreneur. This is a bit more difficult sometimes. But it can be more rewarding, because the decision in those cases are much faster to implement. You don't have to do all the convincing upwards that you have to do in the other situation. So I can help executive to build a stronger team towards a specific result. I can help entrepreneur using their team and eventually using their data better, either directly or with someone else.
Okay.
Using instruments like Power BI, etc. And I can mentor people. And please go ahead with your question.
Paolo's so funny. And how has LinkedIn, like, what's like one thing you learned from the community, from being with us? From just LinkedIn, just one thing that you could say.
Look, number one, I've been member of LinkedIn since 2004. Say, wow, yeah, I've done nothing. I just published a couple of articles.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Paolo's so honest. Like, I've been on LinkedIn, but I've done nothing.
Nothing really. I was there passive accepting. So 30% of my plus 500 are people that just send me link invites and I accept. in the past. Now I'm more selective. Now, what I learned first of all that there's LinkedIn that is a platform that connects more with my reasoning. I have a problem with Facebook. I don't like it. I got problem. I think that, but here it's so there's a kind of similar mindset. Second, you need to be consistent. There's the message to be delivered, the consistency of the message. And there another thing that I always do in the business, but I didn't do a lot on LinkedIn, is consistency, and especially why you are doing, what is the objective, why you are doing an action, what is your, without being, okay, I have to say, you are here, I'm getting, no, but what is the final objective? I will disclare, which is the vision at the end. And I learned that I met very interesting people. You know, I've got conversation with a couple of people in this room, and not with you, Shaneé, for obvious reasons that you know. We got an appointment, and
yeah, we do. It's on the calendar, Paolo. Yeah. I hope you're not late.
No, I was not late. I didn't show up there because there's no question of being late. And very interesting people. They are the possibility to build really something with people that think alike me, and which I found difficult in other platform. And this platform probably is not exploded, or it's not been exploited better as the other. So that's what I learned, and I stop it here. So
awesome. I mean, that was amazing, Paolo. I think that you brought like the missing piece of today's conversation, which was leadership. And I think that that's something that all of you have in common, is that you don't just want to build transactional businesses. Like every single message behind everyone's share was that you want to make a difference, right? That you're not just on LinkedIn to get leads. You're on LinkedIn for something much bigger. You're on LinkedIn to become a leader, to lead the way in your niche and your space, and to actually help people. Like everyone on this call actually really helps people and wants to just help more people. But to do so, you know, we need reach, and that's and we need support in the community. And that's why I created LinkedInpreneurs. So I just thank all of you for joining me live today. We should do it more often. And I look forward to continuing, you know, getting to know all of you, building the relationship, because that's something that I'm really keen on. It's not just like, oh, come learn for like a couple weeks. Like, no, it's growth is a process. It isn't just, you know, a small event, and we could all get better and grow together. That's really what I want to say. So thank you so much for joining me today, every single one of you.
Thank you, and I apologize for being
no,
late.
it's okay, Paolo.
I was in a call. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock here, so I got on a call that went longer. So
okay, that's fine. And I tagged all of you in the blurb, so you're going to be getting connection requests and everything. So if you're listening to this live, just put live in the comments. Connect with everyone that I tagged in the blurb, like in the description of today's post, and reach out to them. As you can see, they're all amazing leaders, and you're going to be seeing more of them on LinkedIn leading the way. So God bless you all, and have an amazing